odd-sounding piece, but an interesting piece to play nonetheless. Damn near every time I play that song, I'm reminded of why it pisses me off so much. It feels like it was more difficult than it was last week. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. How the hell did this go again? That piece still drives me nuts. I could barely wrap my head around the damn thing. Hi there, SixofQueens here. And learning still sucks. This week, I continue working to catch up to where I left off on before fucking off on a 3-month-long pity party. My one session last week went a whole lot better than I thought that it was going to. In fact, it went remarkably well, so much so that people watching in future, assuming anybody watches in future, may think that I was lying to make myself look better or stand out or try and get views or something. Well, joke's on you. No one's watching this shit. I'm mostly doing it for me at this point. And so far it's worked. I've gotten a lot farther along than I have on any attempt to learn to play the piano. As I've stated before, this isn't the only time that I've tried to do it, but the last time I tried was like 8 years ago. And it's also not the first time I've tried to learn to play any instrument, period, and all of those ended up in failure, usually only after a few months. But having these videos to look back on has so far, as I had hoped it would be, been the thing that has kept me coming back and moving forward. And I want to see this thing through as far as I can. On that note, that is why I'm taking my time to work back up to where I was somewhat properly rather than just jump right back into where I left off on with Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So I'm going to keep up with that. I'm going to ditch Jump and Glide as part of the warm-up set that I'm doing. I'm going to stick with the Staccato, Legato, and Musette warm-up duo. But before moving back on to Take Me Out to the Ball Game, I am going to go back and revisit Bells in the Tower, which I seem to recall helped me remember how long you're supposed to hold flats when they're marked in music notation. So, an odd-sounding piece, but an interesting piece to play nonetheless. Hopefully, I'll have that back down before the practice session is over today. I will move into Take Me Out to the Ball Game next time. On that note, from here on out, I'm only going to be doing 2 practice sessions a week. A lot of people may argue that that's really not enough to progress very far or very efficiently, but given everything that I'm doing and the schedule that I'm working with, I think that that's going to be the best way to actually stay consistently on it for a very long period of time. While I do seem to be able to recover pretty well from these extended periods away from practicing, at the very least, no progress is happening during those times, even if I'm not losing all that much. If over those 3 months I had been in here twice a week rather than not in here at all, I'd definitely be a lot further ahead than I am right now. So, I'm going to see if I can prove the experts wrong by coming in here a bare minimum number of times. I'm not going to be moving along at lightning speed, but hopefully I can keep going steadily and not continue to take 2 steps forward and a giant step and a half back. Given that, it's probably best that I not waste the precious little practice time that I am going to spend in here every week by yakking on and on to the camera about stuff that I'm probably going to cut out of the video, and just get on with some nice warm-up. Damn near every time I play that song, I'm reminded of why it pisses me off so much. It's not so much that the song itself is difficult, it is hitting the keys very lightly with my left hand. Oftentimes, I hit it so lightly that nothing actually plays. Especially on the, on that part, very often I will miss one of those, especially since they're staccato, so I'm not only hitting it lightly, I'm hitting it quickly. Clearly is a skill that I still need to work on. It is one of the more difficult ones, and it feels like it was more difficult than it was last week. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Either way, this isn't the last time I'm going to be playing this piece, so I'm going to call the last 2 runs that I did good enough. I don't want to spend this whole practice session on this. So I remember Bells in the Tower took me a long damn time. Or did it? I'm going to have to check back on that. But regardless of whether it took me a really long time last time, all that remains to be seen is whether it takes a really long time this time. How the hell did this go again? So remember last week when I was talking about how taking all that time off seemed to have not really had all that big of an impact? Well, now I'm starting to feel that impact because this piece is really giving me a lot of trouble to the point that I think I need to stop for today and pick it back up tomorrow. I'm just getting too frustrated. Though it does appear to indicate that the decision that I made to go back a few pieces to work on them to warm back up into where I left off, probably the right decision to make. Well, at least I got Bells in the Tower on the books for this week, but I'm going to be straight up. That's about all I got it in me for today and for the rest of the week. It's going to be a busy one, but I'm glad that I was able to get through it. That was a pretty good run, a run that I was pretty happy with anyway, and it's loads better than it was on Tuesday when I could barely wrap my head around the damn thing. I'll make sure at the beginning of next week that I have this down pretty well packed. Musette, that piece still drives me nuts. I was working on it for like 20 minutes. It's two lines. I guess that just means that I don't have the skill down yet, and I really do need to keep practicing it. So I'll just keep hammering away at it. Who knows? I may have days in the future before I finish this chapter where I'm spending, an entire practice session on it because it's just a really bad day. Man, I'm not looking forward to that. I've been sitting here for like a minute without saying anything, so I should just wrap this goddamn thing up. If you'd like to see what it took for me to get this far, then you can either click up here or the link in the description below to catch the entire series from the very beginning. And if you'd like to find out where I go from here, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you know when I upload next. So far, I've practiced hours over weeks. Let's see what, if anything, I learn next time.